Okay, so now that we've created a reference based on county level census indicators of education levels in New York State, let's move on now to step 9, where we're going to download some real COVID data from this case study from New York State. And the link to find these data sets are in the tutorial instructions. And I have the website right here. And as a side comment, this is a wonderful thing now that governments are doing, what they call open data, where important data, like in this case, COVID testing, is made publicly available. You can download it. It's in easy to use formats, and it'll work great for this demonstration of our overall goal of just learning about tabular data inside of ArcGIS Pro. So again, there's the link. You can find the specific link in the tutorial instructions. I'm going to click here on export and download a copy of this data set in static format. I'm going to use my old friend CSV, very common file format used for data in general, not just GIS. It comes in this nice data set here. And I'll go ahead and take a look at it. In Excel real quick, just to take a look at what's going on here. Now, the way they've used this data set, they basically, every row is sort of a time snapshot of what happened in a given county. So there is a lot of redundancy in this data set. However, you'll find that it made for a really good demonstration of a table relate and also time series. And it's kind of interesting. You can see this goes back to March 1st, 2020, all the way up until September 13th of this year when I'm recording this video. And you can really see how the numbers have changed over time. So the number of new positive COVID, the cumulative number of positives, total number of tests performed, the cumulative number of tests performed. So that data set actually sort of right out of being downloaded is in pretty good shape. So I'm going to close Excel. And I'm going to move on now to step 10, where I'm going to add this CSV data to my map and then export it into a standalone table. And, or to be more clear, I'm going to export it as a standalone table into my file geodatabase. So I'm going to go back over to my home project folder. Again, that's why I download everything into here. I'm going to right click and refresh. And there's that COVID data that we just downloaded in step 9. I'm going to drag it. And then I'm going to right click and open it just to make sure everything's working okay in ArcGIS Pro, because sometimes there could be some kind of hiccup. But everything looks great. I've got a nice column and row structure. I've got over 2,000 records, and it can make for some interesting analysis. Now, I could keep this as a standalone table, but what I'm sorry, as a standalone table as an external file, but I'm going to export it right into my file geodatabase. And to do that, it's pretty easy. I'm going to right click, data, export table, and it's going to go right to the default file geodatabase. And I'm going to give it a name of NYS COVID, which stands for New York State COVID, and hit OK here. And if I go to my default file geodatabase, and do refresh, you can see now that it's a standalone table inside of the file geodatabase. And that's just a good thing to know about, because the CSV files externally can be okay to work with, but sometimes you like to have it all in the nice kind of neat package of the file geodatabase. And with that, I'm even going to remove that out, the CSV that is, that I brought in. Okay, so let's move on now to step 11, and we're going to set up a relate. And as you might remember from the beginning of these videos, a relate is how you do a one-to-many relationship. So what do I mean by that with these examples we've been building? When I open up again the New York State COVID, and let's just compare it side by side real quick with the counties. So if I sort the counties by right-click on the column ascending, right, the counties only have one record. The county shapefile, that is, only has one record per geographical feature. I'm sorry, these windows can get a little crazy sometimes. However, in my COVID data, so I have multiple records for a county. In this case, Albany. I'm just going with the first one alphabetically. That's the county that's shown right here in blue. That's where the capital of New York State is. So every county has this kind of thing. Albany has probably a couple hundred records going way back. So we have one county polygon to many COVID testing records, and that's a perfect job for a relate. So to set up the relate, I'm going to go to back to New York counties where I currently still have a join. And joins and relates. I'm going to add a relate. And so in this case, New York counties comes up by default. I'm going to use the New York county's name. And the relate table this time is going to be New York State COVID. And this is the whole reason why I eliminated the space in the word county and comma back in an earlier step, is to be able to create this relationship. So in this case, the match is going to happen based on the string, the name of the county, and with a one-to-many. So when I hit OK, and now I go and click on a county of interest, notice now when I've clicked on Albany, now here comes 560 records related to that one county. And this takes me back through history, as it were, to see how testing happened. So this, again, is a good example of a relate, one to many. One county has many records related to it, and it can be a handy way to inspect data sets sort of interactively. Really all the counties and so forth. Hi, this is Brian Tomaszewski. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, and share this video. Also, please consider subscribing to this channel and clicking the notification icon to stay up to date on new videos from this channel. Thanks for watching.